Okay, as a follow-up to the previous tutorial about UV unwrapping, this is just a quick one to show you how to pack the UVs. Now here you can see I've done all these parts, so I can move them about, but I want to get them in there, and the quick way to do that is to do a pack UVs, and that will rescale everything to suit the size of each part of the model. So pack UVs with everything selected. You can go for any of these options. Recursive packing's good. Normalize, rotate, fill holes. I usually just leave it as default, and it does an okay job. And that basically, if that was the final model, that would be your UV map area. Now it's not perfect, so you can like juggle things about and say, right, I can make more use of it. So I tend to just crunch everything down to a corner like that. Because all these sizes are all spot on. Like this, I don't want to really pop that back in there because it's got a different kind of size into it now. Only thing I can really do here is rotate and move. That's all I want to do. I don't want to resize because the packing's already resized everything, so it's important. Just make sure I give myself a decent little bit of space between. Don't want things too close. Here's a couple of holes I can fill in here. These will do perfect. Just get as much space as possible adjacent to it. Okay, and this part. I'm just trying to think like logically here to see what's the best pack so that I can try and scale all this again. Because I could scale this up to fit the whole UV space. As long as it's all scaled uniform, then I'll get a bit extra detailing from it. I don't want to start straightening things out because it's got a good ratio, so yeah, just move and rotate. That's all I'm really want to do here. If I can get this into a kind of squarish pack, like so. Now I can allow myself to scale up, hold control, and then fit the whole UV space. And that's basically how you would pack. As long as I'm holding control, I can just adjust it. I just like to make sure it's totally in the UV space there. Okay, so that's all packed. Now I'll show you something really quick now. So I'll collapse to. That's that baked in. And because I've got other parts to do, I'm going to have to like move those aside and do the other parts and bring them all and pack them again. But it's nothing to stop me using multi-material. So let's see for this. Now I've got these separated into some kind of elements, well hopefully somewhere. I'm going to try and bring it all back together, the colours, there it was. Yeah, I did have these separated as elements at one point, but I must have been messing about the model so much. Just grow that. This is like doing multi-material, just choosing parts and elements and assigning material. Excuse me. Make sure that when you're selecting stuff that you aren't on the move tool. Sometimes see people selecting and they're still on the move tool, and what happens is when they're selecting they accidentally move things. So just make sure you press Q. So what I'm going to demo here is like baking in your basically your materials, and you bake them in a kind of base texture, and you can work on that. Because now that you've got all your UV map stuff, you can do cool stuff like ambient occlusion. This will be like my base texture color. Yeah, I can work on it more and change it completely if I want, but it just gives me something to base it on. Okay, and just in here. Okay, so let's say that's that part all ready to be rendered to texture. We'll do 0. Bird now. Yeah, that's a red bird base. Okay, so 0. No projection modifier needed. Add diffuse map to 5.6. It's fine. We'll just test this off and just do a render. See what happens. You can see it's baked the light in as well, but it's done it based on the UVs that I just set up, but it's baked the light in now. Best thing to do for that is to add either add a skylight or go to environment, change your ambient to like full white, and change your light level. So change your ambient to full white and change your light level to 0. And what that'll do is that'll give you like pure color, as you can kind of see it. You can muck about a little bit and like just give me a little bit of light like that, just to hint at things. Change the ambience down a little bit just to hint at a little bit of darkness. So render a texture. Okay, and you can see it's gave it a better overall thing made, but you can see there's light on one side here, and it's going to bake that in, so that's no good either. So what we'll do is we'll add a skylight. Just pops in a skylight there, no shadows on, that's fine, and render a texture that. And that's a lot better. This way it's not cast any shadows of any kind, but you can still tweak the environment, you know, so that I can see a bit more like that, and more ambience, more dark areas, and render that. Okay, so it's not bothered baking in the light, and that's just because of the way this light source works. Now, not to stop me just putting in a single Omni at the top, doing the same thing, but I really want it to just do it right. So let me go to Light Tracer and turn it off, and then render a texture. And it's made no difference. I just had a theory that it might have worked, but it didn't work. So let's turn it back on. So what I could do is just really take that away. If I really want some, you know, subtleties of what's light and what's dark, best thing to really do is just put an Omni at the top, you know, dead center on the y-axis, like that, and put one on the bottom as well. And you can affect the you know, the near and far fall off. First of all, you can check to see how it looks here, because that's really how you're going to see it. Apart from the light kind of hits more areas, but if I render a texture it now, I get a little bit of light here and there. Again, it looks like it's to one side, so I'll just make sure that, let's see, perspective, sorry, I kind of go on a bit with these videos, but I just want to get it right before I move on. There you go, it's a bit better there. I don't know what I did different apart from change the perspective mode. Okay, so that's given as a good base texture, and that's saved somewhere, and I think it might have applied it. I might have put it on a slot here. If I change that to test slot, and I can create new baked, and could be standard blend. I'm not too sure. I've never done it before, but I'm sure you can make it like go into another texture and apply to it. So if someone knows that, they can tell me in the comments. Okay, so you can do that, or you can just find the texture. So I do render a texture again, sorry. I'll create a bigger diffuse map, 512 will do it. Let me just save it onto the desktop as a PNG for now. diffuse. Okay, so I'm going to take the two lights away. Right. First of all, I will give it a new material there. I can go ahead and like do ambient occlusion as well if I wanted, but that takes a little while longer. So let's go into the environment and just turn these back to normal. One and back down to there. Let's apply that. This material has been applied, so let's see if I change color, it changes. Let's click on this here and choose bitmap, go to our desktop, and I'll find this and just apply it to it. And there you can see it's a baked in texture. As you can see, it has got a little bit of light there. I must have done something again, but a little bit rough looking around the edges. You can see those seam lines like there. So let me just close these windows. Let's clean them up a little bit, not much. There's not really any padding done to it, so if I open up Photoshop, and as you can see there's a naked guy in my background because Mr. Ninjutsu decided to post it in my work thread, and he's a guy from Train Game and he's really good at anatomy, so I've put it in my background just to let it sink in. Good for a little bit of study because I'm really struggling with anatomy. It's not my strong point at all. I'm not a specialist in character modeling. I'm more of just a general all-rounder stroke modeler. Right, so if I find the diffuse map there, so that's the one it's using. It's okay, you know, it's added light to it where I don't need it, so you could take away the lights and just make it flat and then add ambient occlusion to it as a multiply layer on top, and that would be the way to go there. And then you could go ahead and add detail. So forget what I was wanting to show you now. So we're into Photoshop with this. Oh yeah, okay, so let's call the background. I'm just going to duplicate that. I changed the name of that from background to layer 0. I can do more things with it then. And if I just go to layer and duplicate layer, it's made a copy. Yes, it's made a copy. I'll just hide the back layer there. I'm going to select everything that's black. Yeah, without too much tolerance. Just do 0 tolerance. Let's take away a bit there. You know, I can unselect that or whatever if it lets me, but never mind. I'll just delete that. Deselect, you bugger. Okay, clean up a little bit there, a little bit annoying. So you can see it's creating these black edges everywhere. Let me just select everything again and select and just grow it by clicking on grow. Modify, expand is probably a better one. Let's go 2 pixels and like that, and just delete, and then Control Shift I to invert selection, and if you've got X normal, it would be dilation. We can do like 8 pixels. And I think that did it. Yeah. No. That was what we deleted. And that's what we dilated. I think. Now I'm losing the plot. Right, there's where it should be. Let's try it without selecting anything. Dilation. Let's turn this right up so I can see it. 18 update. There we go. Do it. There we go. Okay, so it's just dilated everything out, which is ideal. Save as. Diffuse. Okay, there's some errors here, but I'll just turn this back on. And there is some mistakes being made because I deleted too many areas, so what I could do is just add a mask. And know, for example, like down here is wrong, so I'm going to just paint in black to bring it back. And yeah, that's really what you would do. Like that, so that gets that area back, that area as well. Yeah, I could go ahead and add some writing somewhere to see how it looks, but I'd rather do that in 3D Coat or something where I can actually see how it's being distorted. Okay, so if I save that as diffuse PNG and overwrite, okay. And now we go back into Max. You can see it's got rid of all those. So the word there is get XNormal and grab the plugins for Photoshop from its folder, and then throw them in to your Photoshop folder. I showed this in one of the previous tutorials. I'm not sure what one, but you can always drop a comment and I'll explain how it's done. You see there's just a little mistake being made there as well, but it's all good. It can all be cleaned up. It's at a good stage. It's baked in the light in there. It kind of looks like fade. Been sitting in the sun too long, and there's a little mistake there as well. So those would be painted out. But that's one way to get a base texture in as well, after you've done your UV mapping, of course. Okay, that's all for this tutorial, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.